Tonight on News at 9, disaster update. Over 600,000 now affected. Death toll rises to 194. 99 still missing.
First at 9. This is Other Derana 24/7.
Also making news, disaster relief. Triforce's personnel continues search and rescue operations. Ministerial vehicles. President suspends all vehicle purchases for ministers and MPs until the end of the year. Flood aftermath. Officials warn of health epidemics that could rise after floodwaters recede. MANUSATH Derana, people affected in remote parts of the island, receive aid. Good evening. The death toll from the adverse weather, which has already caused havoc while resulting floods and landslides all across the island, had now risen to 194. According to the latest updates of the Disaster Management Centre, 99 persons still remain missing. Search and rescue operations are still underway out in many areas with the collaborative efforts of the Triforces, police and the general public. The onset of the southwestern monsoon has so far left over 600,000 people affected in 15 districts of Sri Lanka, and 84,555 displaced persons are currently housed in 382 temporary shelters. Ratnapura district is the hardest hit due to the inclement weather, with 79 lives claimed so far and over 121,000 affected in the district. In the Kaluthara district too, landslides and flooding caused severe damages to life and property. Over 151,000 people are currently affected in Kaluthara, while 62 deaths are reported. In the Mathara district, over 170,500 people are affected and 27 lives have been claimed. In Galle, 13 lives were claimed while over 140,000 are affected. People in Kegalle, Mathale, Kandy, Vaunia, Mullaitivu, Hambantota, Colombo, Gampaha, Batticaloa, Trincomalee and Nuwara districts are also severely affected. Throughout the disaster, Other Derana has brought to you updates on the developments of the adverse weather. Our team visited Ratnapura district, where several landslides occurred in the hill areas. Today, with much difficulty, our team reached Kiribadgala in Nivithigala, where they witnessed how a landslide off the Kiribadgala hill in Kurahangama village had buried over 20 houses. Search teams have so far recovered 15 bodies of victims of the landslide. Army personnel are continuing search operations for 11 reported missing. More than 350 individuals have been evacuated from the area as a result of the landslide, and they are housed at the Kiribadgala school.
I was asleep when the landslide occurred. The roof of the house fell down and my son was a bit far from where we were. I managed to cover my little one though. And then I got trapped in mud and rubble and I saw my son disappearing under soil. I couldn't get away, but my wife did, and then later she screamed that our son is missing. I managed to release my leg from under the mud and started looking for my son. And then my wife said that he was somewhere near the cupboard. So I dug about 2 feet deep, and that's when I heard my son calling for me. I saved him, and then all of us walked about 10 feet when another landslide occurred.
Me puta Leli Nangi ge duwa ane dugi lamai 4 dinam e putai ge lamai dennai Leli එකක් වතව හම්බෙලා හම්බුනේ නෑ තව පුතාගේ රෝණයි ළමයි.
Meanwhile, the Other Derana team in Ayagama took to the air with the Air Force to capture the situation in the area during relief operations. while people continue to be evacuated from their homes in Ratnapura, Kalutara, Kegalle, Galle and Colombo districts due to landslide warnings and floods. The Tri-Forces are continuing around-the-clock search and rescue operations in these districts.
In Ratnapura, an operation to clear fallen rocks and debris due to a landslide which occurred along the Ahaliyagoda-Dehiyovita road was conducted today. Meanwhile, the town of Bombuwala in Kalutara district remains inundated, causing heavy damages to property and infrastructure. The Air Force was seen distributing relief goods to those affected in Anguruwato to Kalutara. Furthermore, severe flooding was still prevalent in Galpatha, Kalutara. Still in Kalutara, several area residents in Kalabada were seen living in tents as their houses are inundated. Our reporters said that the clinic building at the Galpatha hospital is inundated. 8 in-house patients and the hospital administration staff have been trapped inside the hospital for the past 5 days. Thereby, immediate measures were taken to transfer the 5 patients to another hospital by boat. Meanwhile, 20 persons were reported missing when a landslide occurred in Tibbottava, Kalutara. It was reported that houses were buried 50 feet under and so far 2 bodies have been recovered. Meanwhile, search operations continue to find those who are missing in the landslide which occurred in Atwaltota village in Palinda Nuvara. Several landslides were also reported from the Kegalle district. A landslide caused damages to 4 houses in Tummodara located along the Hangwalla-Labugama road. As a result, 88 families are relocated to the Tummodara Sri Sumana temple due to landslide risks in the area.
They asked us to stay here, but we do not know till when. The children have to go to school. We are afraid.
Meanwhile, another 36 families were evacuated to Dabora Primary School when a landslide occurred at the Dabora Aya estate in Padukka. The Matra Akurasa road and surrounding areas are still inundated owing to the inclement weather. Areas of Kamarupitiya, Malimbada, Aturiliya, Tudava, Godagama and Veragampitiya are still affected by floods brought on by the inclement weather. Several areas in the Galle district are still affected by floods as water levels of the Ging River is still at a threatening level. Thereby, Unandvita in Baddegama is still experiencing floods. Meanwhile, the Batapola Dorala village in Galle still remains inundated due to heavy rains experienced in the area. Our reporters say that although water levels of the Kali River have receded, areas of Kaduwela and Malvana continue to be submerged.
In
And the deadly cyclone Mora, which weakened or wreaked havoc across Sri Lanka, made landfall in Bangladesh earlier today, leading to several deaths in the country. As a result, the Sri Lankan Met Department predicts a decrease in rainfall after tomorrow.
Moving from Sri Lanka, Cyclone Mora made landfall early this morning between the fishing port of Cox's Bazar and the city of Chittagong, with wind speeds up to 117 km per hour. Hundreds of thousands of people had already been evacuated to shelters while schools and government offices were closed as of late last evening. 6 people are reported to be dead by the cyclone, and approximately 15,000 houses have been destroyed, leaving 500,000 people displaced. In the meantime, in Sri Lanka, the highest rainfall of 106.6 millimeters was recorded from Norton today.
The cyclone storm Mora has crossed Bangladesh coast today. However, windy condition is expected to continue over the island and sea areas around the island. Showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the sea area of the coast, extending from Putlam to Hambantota via Colombo and Galle. Thunder showers may occur several places in the sea areas. Winds will be southwesterly in direction and speed will be 40 to 50 km per hour.
Meanwhile, speaking to Ada Derana, Secretary of the Government Medical Officers Association, Dr. Navin de Soysa said that measures are being taken to prevent the spread of communicable diseases posing a threat at displacement camps.
Very important thing is the communicable diseases, which will occur in the next few days because most people are crowded here and there, and the water sources, the diarrhea situation, and some kind of respiratory diseases. We want to take measures to that people. We are asking pregnant ladies not to wait in displaced camps. Please go to nearby to the hospitals. So we given the health messages because it will be the next disaster.
The National Building Research Organisation updated its early landslide warnings for 7 districts. Alapata, Kuruvita, Ahaliyagoda, Imbulpe and several other areas of the Ratnapura district has been identified as risk areas. Bulat Kohupitiya, Dharaniyagala, Yatiyantota and Dehiyovita areas of the Kegul district are declared as high-risk zones. The warning also extends to Baddegama, Yakkalamulla, Neluwa, Tabalama, Niyagama and Nagoda in the Galle district. Bulat Sinhala, Agalavatta, Valalavita and Baduraliya of the Kalutara district are also identified as at risk of landslides. Areas facing the threat of landslides in the Matara district are Kotapola, Pasgoda and Mulatiyana. Walasmulla and Katuwana in the Hambantota district are also at risk. In the Nuwara district, Ambuluwawa Korale division has been identified as a high-risk area. Meanwhile, search and rescue officials warn the public not to approach affected areas and high-risk zones in order to avoid further loss of life and damage.
President Maithripala Sirisena today said that the cabinet has made a decision to suspend all vehicle purchases for ministers and MPs until the end of the year. President Sirisena made the announcement during a meeting to discuss relief measures for the people affected.
President Maithripala Sirisena chaired a meeting of the National Council for Disaster Management attended by all subject ministers, ministerial secretaries, government officials and heads of triforces this morning. The President has instructed the officials to expedite building and repairing houses which were damaged and destroyed by floods and landslides. He also stressed that the decisions on the resettlement process should be made with the betterment of the country at heart and not petty political gains.
A decision was taken by the cabinet to increase the 225 rupee daily food allowance to the affected persons up to 300 rupees. It will be implemented from today. Reconstruction of houses are mandatory and we have to implement it. We have to allocate financial donations from overseas for the housing program. We also decided not to import new vehicles for parliamentarians. Everyone should use vehicles which they already have.
We'll be back with more from the developments of the current adverse weather, landslides and flooding on the other side of this break. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Minister of Health, Nutrition and Indigenous Medicine Dr. Rajitha Senaratne reiterates that although government was taken by surprise by the severe weather condition, Their response to the disaster has met with global praise. The minister made the remarks speaking at a media briefing held at the Disaster Management Centre in Colombo today. Meanwhile, addressing the media briefing at the DMC, Minister Rajith Senaratne added that the government has decided to award compensation of 100,000 rupees for each death caused by the prevailing disaster situation. In addition, a maximum of 2.5 million rupees will be awarded for those houses that were damaged by the tragic disaster.
Global warming and climate change. We know that extreme weather is becoming one more common. The government should have anticipated that. The government says that it was taken by surprise.
Yes, surprise means the time.
The time. The southwest monsoon is scheduled from May to September, and we know the rains will come.
Yeah.
Is it all right for the government to say that it was taken by surprise?
Surprise, otherwise, how did you take it? Were you aware that this was coming because there is monsoon? Any disaster comes with a surprise, always. So, only thing is how we face it. Globally, they praise our operations, how we treat the people. Only here only they say this was not given, this had not happened. No, we are preparing ourselves as a small island, developing country. We are doing our best. We are studying and doing that. With all that, all the countries is facing this one, not only Sri Lanka.
Are there any cases of water diseases, contaminations?
Still nothing.
How do you plan to anticipate a possible dengue outbreak?
Yeah, dengue will be reduced for about 2 weeks with the floods because all the dengue larvae will be flushed away. But after 2 weeks, again, it will start reappearing. Every district, we have deployed medical teams separately to supervise and then take immediate action on these diseases.
And also a sum of 2 billion rupees will be allocated for the revival of small and medium-scale enterprises destroyed due to the prevalent severe weather condition in the country. Cabinet co-spokesperson Minister Dr. Rajith Silva stated this at the same media briefing that he addressed at the Disaster Management Centre. This decision had been taken at the cabinet meeting held yesterday. Moving on, MANUSATH Derana humanitarian initiative continued to accumulate and distribute relief to people battered by the adverse weather conditions for a 5th consecutive day. The humanitarian initiative has once more provided relief measures to those who are stranded and displaced.
Numerous people, with their hearts brimming with compassion and generosity, donated relief supplies including rice, lentils, canned fish, tea, milk powder, sugar, clothes and bottled water, as well as other goods essential for those affected across the country at the Derana head office located at number 320 TB Jaya Road, Colombo 10.
MANUSATH Derana continues its tireless missions to provide relief to the people who are affected due to the adverse weather condition across the country. As you can see, relief and assistance are flowing into the Derana head office today as well. And we continue to request dry rations, unused blankets, pillows, towels and clothes as well as sanitary towels. Some of the main collection points are number 320 TB Jaya Road, Colombo 10, that is the Derana head office. The premises of Idea Hell at number 45/6 Alvis Place, Colombo 3, and the Siri Vajragnana Temple, Maharagama.
As a citizen of Sri Lanka, I wanted to help the people in need, so I volunteered here. I'm not representing any institute or anyone. I'm a Sri Lankan here helping Sri Lanka.
We are from the Colombo Medical Faculty, and with this state in the country, we are happy to be helping to improve the care and the support that we can give our people. And especially with the floods, there will be a lot of medical problems coming up. So we hope to help with anyone who will be going to help our people. We give our fullest support to anyone who will be doing anything to help people of our country.
Deranata udav karanna ave අපි මයිකිස් ඉස්කෝලේ අපි ගංවතුර කටියට ආරාන්ත දෙන්න ආවේ.
We have seen through the television that you all have helping all our people, so we believe in Derana and we like to help you in future as well.
So the netball team of Visakha Vidyalaya has come together to bring donations for all those victims of the floods in Sri Lanka, and it's quite amazing to see how so many people have gathered together for this meritorious act. I would also like to congratulate Derana for putting up such a huge effort to send all these donations to the people, reaching out to all those hearts and helping so many people in our country. So congratulations and thank you so much.
We, the members of Bosavana Sports Club of Sudwella, decided to make some contribution towards Derana's efforts to distribute essential goods to the affected people. So the members decided to collect milk packets, tea leaves, sugar, bottled water, etc. so that it will be distributed in a way that it will be acceptable to all the people.
We are Sido Village Exas Subhadar Samitiya. We like Derana. We are always with Derana.
The two other main aid collection points set up at Idea Hell on number 45/6 Alvis Place, Colombo 3 and the Siri Vajragnana Temple, Maharagama also continue to receive large amounts of relief goods. In addition, various other collection points were set up across the country, including the prison premises in Gaul, the district secretariat of Matara and the Rajupavanaramiya Getabe, Peradeniya. Some of the accumulated relief goods were handed over to the Air Force this morning at the Ratmalana Airport for air distribution across the country. Meanwhile, MANUSATH Derana collaborated with the Sri Lanka Red Cross to distribute relief goods to those affected. Transporting aid to displaced people in areas with heavy flooding and landslides has been one of the most difficult tasks. Within such a backdrop, teams with specialized off-road vehicles offered their support to the MANUSATH Derana humanitarian initiative. Their support proved crucial when delivering relief supplies to Neluwa. The MANUSATH Derana special off-road vehicles reached Kalavana today, marking the first visit to the area since the floods. Flood relief was also supplied to Ayagama in the Ratnapura district. Batches of relief goods were sent for areas including Millaniya, Kalutara, Endana in Kahavatta and Paliyagoda.
The third Indian ship with relief aid, INS Jalashwa, arrived in the country today. Two other ships arrived separately on Saturday and yesterday carrying relief goods upon a request made by the Sri Lankan government.
Medical teams and considerable amounts of relief goods, including drinking water and dry rations, were on board. Meanwhile, President Secretary P.B. Abekon also met the Indian High Commissioner this morning. The relief goods will be distributed among the disaster-hit areas. Meanwhile, the naval ship PNS Zulfikar, dispatched by the government of Pakistan, also arrived with relief goods at the Colombo port today. The acting High Commissioner of Pakistan, Dr. Safraz Ahmad Khan Sipra, handed over the relief goods to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ravi Karunanayaka. This can be considered as an assurance of the friendship between the two countries as they come to assist our people.
We have got food items, we have got medicines, we have got doctors and medical teams, we have got this rescue helicopter, we have got our own boats which can go into the water, and we have got expert drivers, divers which can go deep into the waters and can.
Meanwhile, 3 shipments of relief supplies from China are expected to arrive in the country on Thursday.
One of our kindred spirits, Amila Hemal, who was a producer at the Derana Media Network, passed away this morning. He suddenly bid farewell at the tender age of 28, shocking all his colleagues.
Amila Hemal
who completed his education at Thurston College, Colombo, was an all-round artist. He entered broadcasting from the Aturu Mitru program at the Rupwahini Corporation. Amila joined the Derana family in August 2012 as an assistant producer of news and programs. He contributed as a producer for political and current affairs programs such as Derana Aruna, Lokaya Saha Lokayo, Vadapitiya and Nithiyata Ida. Moreover, he reached a wide audience as a host for programs such as Art Week.
Me, Art Week.
Tsunami Anniversary, Heta Nodakina at Parapura and Sri Pada Vandana are few of the programs produced by him which serve as a proof of his quality and opportune use of television. He was presented the Gold Award last year as one of the best employees of the Derana newsroom. During the recent disaster situation, he came forward to actively participate with the Derana family on behalf of the affected people.
MANUSATH Deranat ekka apit ekka ekatu wela innawa Ambalangoda taruna prajawa. මොකද හිතන්නේ MANUSATH Deranat ekka එකතු වෙච්ච කෙනෙක්.
Just hours before his passing away, Amila Hemal composed a song with the intention of creating a discussion in society about those who are affected by the floods.
ඉර මුදුන් වෙන්න කලින් මේ ගමන යන්නත් එපේ. කාලා බීලා නාලා කරලා හිමීට එහෙම මේ ගමන බොහොම පරිස්සමට යන්න ඕනේ. ඉතින් බුදු සරණයි දෙවි පිහිටයි කියලා මේ ගමන මේ විදිහට පිටත් වෙනවා.
Unfortunate news to all of us at the Derana Media Network, and we wish that Amila Hemal attains the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Moving on to sports news, we have athletics. Major General Palitha Fernando was elected as the president for a 2-year term at the annual general meeting of the Athletic Association of Sri Lanka held today at the National Library auditorium premises. Fernando contested against the outgoing president Sugat Tilakaratne and secured a landslide victory as the votes read 32 to 79 in favour of Fernando. Meanwhile, veteran sports administrator Prema Pinnavala was appointed as the secretary uncontested and will work with Fernando to revive athletics in Sri Lanka. And last evening, Kumar SANGAKKARA fell short of a historic 6th consecutive county cricket century when he was dismissed for 84 in the second innings for Surrey.
SANGAKKARA came into bat on the back of a double century in the first innings against Essex after having scored 2 centuries at the Lords the week before. Having scored 136, 105, 114, 120 and 200 in his last 5 innings, the Sri Lankan legend was just 16 runs short of joining Mike Proctor, Don Bradman and C.B. Fry on the list of cricketers to have scored 6 centuries on the bounce. Sanga, however, can count himself among a very short list of players to have scored 5 tons on the trot in first-class cricket.
We have more coming up after this break. In your top international story, the former Panamanian dictator Manuel Noriega, whose drug trafficking and brutal regime sparked a US invasion in 1989, has died at the age of 83. Panamanian President Juan Carlos Varela announced Noriega's passing away in a tweet last evening and said his passing marked the closing of a chapter in Panama's history.
The former dictator underwent an operation in March to remove a brain tumor but suffered a hemorrhage and was in a coma since the second surgical intervention. Noriega ruled Panama from 1983 to 89 and was initially sentenced in the United States in 1992 following the invasion in 89 and was serving a sentence for murder in Panama. As military ruler of the Central American country, Noriega made world headlines as his relationship with Washington soured, prompting the United States to send in nearly 28,000 troops to seize Panama City and capture him in a house-to-house hunt.
Let's now cross over to Derana's Weather Centre, where Katharina Chang has tomorrow's weather forecast.
Thank you, Devari, and welcome back. Now, as per the latest update, cyclonic storm Mora has made landfall in Bangladesh early this morning. Now, accordingly, the effects of the current typhoon is expected to weaken in Sri Lanka. As a result, the possibility of heavy rain and strong gusts of wind will gradually reduce by tomorrow. Furthermore, strong winds of about 80 kilometers per hour can be expected over the country, especially over the western slope of the Central Hills and surrounding sea areas in the island. Showers or thundershowers will occur at times in the western, Sabaragamuwa, southern, northwestern and central provinces. Meanwhile, heavy rainfall of about 100 millimeters can be expected at several places in northern and north-central provinces, accompanied by showers and thundershowers. We can also expect temperatures to vary between 24 to 34 degrees Celsius in key cities across the island. That's it from the Weather Centre. Let's now take a quick look at the city-by city weather forecast.
That's all from your primetime news at 9, but we'd like to leave you with visuals of search and rescue missions carried out by our tri-forces in the disaster-hit areas. They have been saving hundreds of people, providing relief items to thousands throughout the country by air and land. Have a pleasant evening. Good night.
Information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Derana 24/7.